Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jesse, and I'm doing some work with React Native Web today. Right now, I'm going to work on putting a modal in. So, this is the page that we're going to use for the modal. Let me make the text a lot bigger. Hopefully, there we go. Let's see, maybe a little bit bigger. All right, that's definitely going to be big enough. Okay, cool. All right. Hey, got a couple people watching. Thanks for watching. I'm going to code for a little bit, and I'm going to not really pay attention to the chat while I'm coding. And then after about 25 minutes, I'm going to take a little break, and then I'll answer any questions that you might have. So just go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and then stick around, and I'll answer them. If you can't stick around, just watch the replay. Replay will be available after, probably about 5 minutes after the video, the live stream's over. I'm going to try to get this modal done in less than an hour, because I have a meeting in about an hour and a half. So let's see if we can do that. And I have some new settings in my streaming software. So let me know if you can't hear me or anything seems off with the video or the audio. I will do my best to try to fix it. All right. So I have on my other screen here a design for the modal. Let me pull this over so y'all can see what it's going to look like. Okay, so this modal, all right, cool. It was saying there was no data coming for the stream, but it looks like now it's okay. So this is what the modal is going to look like. Let me see if I can zoom in. Let me move it to the center and zoom. All right, so basically, very simple modal. We got an image, some text, two buttons, and one is just, this button is just a link to a web page, and this one will just close the modal. So it shouldn't be too hard. You just have to get the styling right for this modal. I'm gonna move this back over to my other screen so we can get to work with some code. Now, I already have a modal in this page that I'm not going to be using, but what we can do is use the modal. At least I did have a modal. Maybe I took it out already. I think I did. Nope, there it is. So we have a modal already, and let's see what that modal looks like. We might be able to use it. So I'm going to do visibility true, just to see if we can get the modal to show up. And also, let's move this over. And all right, cool. So the modal we have here, it actually has an X instead of a cancel. So that's a little bit different, but it does have basically the same styles for the text that we're looking at. That looks pretty close. And with buttons. So let's do that. Earlier today, I was working on the rest of this page, which was, oh, I guess I hard coded that modal in. So the rest of the page is a podcast player. So I've been working on that. That's what all the other code is here on the page. But let's take that modal and use that as a, like a template, let's say. So that's the app link modal. See if we can open that app link modal. Let's move it over here. And I'm going to copy everything. And I have a folder here just for modals. So I'm going to put another modal in here. Just got to think of what to name it. Let's name it download modal. Download app modal. Yeah. And it's a .tsx file because we are using TypeScript, more or less. So let's get the naming correct. So we don't want it to be AppLink Modal. We want it to be, what do we call that? Download app modal. So download app modal. We want these props. Yeah, same props, style, community. Do we need the community? I don't think so. But we can pass the ID. So I guess we could change this to podcast ID. I'm just gonna remove this because I don't really know what we would do with it. I mean, it might be useful, some useful data, but I don't think we have anything set up right now on the back end to collect that data. So I'm gonna get rid of that. All right, so now that we have this here, oh, did I get the wrong modal? Or did this modal used to have? Oh, I see. I think this modal was actually copied from a previous modal, and it had some stuff in here that we're not using now. So like name and email. I think we actually had some form fields in here at some point, but we don't need them anymore. So I'm going to get rid of them. And then I'm going to change this from AppLink Modal to download app modal. And when it'll automatically, I have some package or something that automatically imports this. So you see it automatically imported. And just make sure I got that right. Cool. So let's go back to our app. Make sure it's going to refresh. We'll make sure the modal still appears. Awesome, modal's still there. Now we can go in and start changing things with this modal. I'm going to move it over here. And I'll move it back over here as we change things. But the first thing I'm going to do is change these buttons so that we can close our modal, open our modal properly. Let's see. Actually, I really kind of like how this modal looks better, but that's a discussion to have with the designer. Let's see. First, let's start at the top and work our way down. Okay, so inside our card, you see this is kind of a rough component. I still have inline styles and everything, so I think I was expecting to refactor this at some point, and so I just left it as is, which is usually what I do. I usually just leave everything in line until I'm satisfied with the final version, and then I refactor and make it a little bit nicer. So I want, there we go. There's the close SVG and toggle modal. Let's take this. Let's get rid of it because we don't want this anymore. And we don't need this view anymore. That was just the styling for that close button. And now down here, let's paste it down here and see. So what we want, according to the designs, is we don't really want a like a button. We basically just want the word cancel. So let's remove this button completely. This is our second button. And we still want this touchable opacity. We want it to toggle the modal, but we don't want all this. What we do want is text. So we want text, and we want the styles of the text to have the color style. So in our style, we're passing an object of styles. Color, and we want it to be colors dot purple. Let me make sure I'm importing colors first. We'll copy it from over there. That's not the right colors. Sometimes the auto imports get a little bit messed up. There we go. So we're importing colors. We have a file with just some colors in it for the theme for this app. So I'll use the right theme. So I think this is colors.purple dark. So that's our text, and the text size we want is 15. So let's put that in there now. I think 15 is our default, but so font size 15. Notice we're not putting any units at the end because we're using React Native Web. So it uses React Native, which is unitless. So there's no pixels or EM or anything at the end. Now we can actually write the text we want, which is cancel. So what we should get at the bottom now is a toggle with, it says cancel. Now we have flex direction row on here. We need to get rid of that. Okay, we need flex direction column. In React Native, flex direction column is the default. That's opposite to what it normally is in React or on the web. So since we want our buttons to be stacked on top of each other instead of side by side, we have to get rid of that flex direction row. I don't think we need 100% width anymore. And we want to justify our content. Actually, we don't need that. We need align items, and we're going to put them in the center. Okay. Let's save that, and I'll pull the app over, and we'll see what we have. See if it's going to work like we expected it to. Hey, we got a couple of people in here that I recognize. What's up? What's up, everybody? See John, Michael. Very nice. Who else is joining us? Pedro. Awesome. Abid. Not sure how to pronounce that, but hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching. All right, cool. So we have these stacked, and we do need a little bit of space in between them. But let's not worry about that now. I said I was going to go to the top. So we started at the top, and we had to move some code down to the bottom. But let's go back to the top, and let's add in an image. So we have our card style. And what's this? What's this view? I might not need all of this overflow stuff anymore. That might have just been for the close button that I had. But I do need this to be above all the text. So let's go here and put in an image. Let's see, image. And it's not giving me the right import, so I'm just gonna import it myself. Well, we need a source for the image, so we need to grab the image from our designs. So let me pull over our designs, if it'll open. So this is supposed to be our designs. Maybe let me close it. Probably about 10 more minutes, I'll get to the questions. I need to reopen Adobe XD. Let me see if I can find it here. See if it'll come up there. XD. It's not searching. All right, let me just be patient for a second. Adobe XD. All right, it's there. Hopefully it'll open. All right, while we're waiting for that to open, we may as well get the correct text in here. So I'm just going to copy and paste the text, and then we can double check and make sure that the font size is the correct size. Download the app, get full free access. It's the first one, and there's the second bit of text. Give that a save. All right, cool. Looks like Adobe XD opened on my other window. Let me find the project I need. It's loading. It could take a couple minutes. Hopefully it doesn't freeze up the stream. Let's look at, there we go. This is everything with the correct text. It looks pretty good. Let's check our font size. 20. I think my font size is a little big. We need to drop that to 22. We can change the color now that we imported colors and use color.dark purple or purple dark. And the margin looks a little bit big. Change it to 25, the bottom margin. And let's see. This says font size 15. So let's switch that to 15. And then the color is like this gray color. It's called Dove Gray. So change the color here. And all right, let's bring over Adobe XD. See what we have. Hopefully this is the right one. Media. Oh, it says media, but it's login. You see there's a lot of stuff in here. I might be on the wrong one. Yeah, I'll throw this over here for now. We may just have to wait on the image if I can't find where it's at. I don't want to spend too much time messing around and trying to find XD files. We could just put in a temporary image for now. We'll just get like a demo image. But let's see what this font looks like. Let me save it. See if it looks like the designs. Oops, and we got the error there for our image. Let me comment out that image for now. We'll put it back in a second. I just want to make sure that this looks like the designs. Not bad. The line height looks a little much. So I think we have the line height at 30. And I believe we want it at 24. Yeah, I think we want it at 24. So it's still pretty like a decent size line height, but not quite as much. Much better. All right. Okay, cool. Now there's this big white space here, but that's going to get covered up by an image. So let me grab just a test image. I'm going to get an image of Bill Murray. Because I like Bill Murray. And there's a stock image site just for Bill Murray images. Let me think. I believe this is URI. I think that's how you do it. And then let's give it a width and a height. Let me check here. I think we're going to go like 260 by 260. So let's put this in 260. 260. See if we get an image from that. And style. We're going to pass a style object. Oops. Not there though. Styles equal width 260, height 260, and we're gonna need to give it well, we might need to give it a margin on the bottom, so let's do that. It looks like about 15 pixels. Margin bottom 15. And it looks like we also have a border radius on here. Our border radius is at 8. So let's give it a border radius. Border radius 8. And if this works, I'll bring over the design and the actual site so we can compare. Oops. Failed to construct image. What did I do? I messed that up. All right, let's see what I messed up. Image. Oh, I never imported it. That's why. Image. Let's get rid of some stuff we're not using. We're not using state. Not using the close SVG, the App Store SVG. We're about to get rid of the Google Play SVG. I mean, no icon there. So let's just get rid of that. Okay. Hey, and Niki's here too. And Steven. Awesome. Good to see you all. It's like old times. Look, I have a bunch of styles I'm not using either, so let's get rid of those. Let's see. The image did not work. Why didn't it work? Let's check our console. It looks like maybe I can't use 260 and 260. So let's see. Let's go with 300 and 300. I think there's got to be one for that, right? What is this? Oh, not styles. I need style. I always type that wrong. I did that earlier today as well. I usually catch it pretty quick. Let me check. I think my timer is not going off. I set a timer to let me know when it's time. Oh, I have 30 more seconds. In 30 seconds, I'm going to go back to the chat and answer some questions. And where am I at? All right. Hey, well, we kind of got something going on there. It's not exactly what I wanted, but we can see that an issue already is that it looks like maybe I have a fixed height for this or something, and all the text is coming out the bottom. So we know what to work on when we get back. Okay. I'm going to set a 5-minute timer now and then answer some questions. All right. So we got a question. Is Flutter better than React Native? I don't know. I prefer React Native, but I haven't really used Flutter, so I don't think I'm a good judge of whether Flutter is better than React Native. I've heard good things about it, but my personal opinion is that React Native has a bigger ecosystem, so you're way more likely to be able to find the plugins that you need, the NPM packages you need. You're more likely to find tutorials. So for me, at least, that's why if I had to pick, I would pick React Native. I mean, if I had to pick one to learn, let's say I didn't know either one, I would probably pick React Native because of that. But I mean, I've got love for Flutter too. Nothing against Flutter. I just don't know how to use it. Let's see. John asks, is the sizing in React Native, is it relative to a root size? You know what? I don't really know if you can set a root size. To me, it seems like it equates to pixels, but I don't know if that's changeable or if that's even accurate. I've always just thought like pixels when I put it down, and it seems, at least with text, it seems to equate to pixels, and really positioning. So that's been my experience. I never looked into seeing if we could set it to something else though. Michael says, is React Native's default alignment vertical due to the fact that phones are not widescreen monitors? Yeah, I believe that's the case. So normally on a phone, you're in with the vertical orientation, so portrait mode, right? And so Flexbox by default, like as it's defined in CSS, is your, let's say I put 3 elements on a page, they're going to be side by side. They're going to stretch horizontally across the page. But on a phone, that's not really what you want because you have way more space vertically. So for React Native, they flipped it around so that the default behavior of Flexbox is if I have 3 elements in my code, it's going to display on the page vertically, like stacked, one on top of each other. Okay, so if you're used to the way Flexbox normally works on the web, it does take a little bit of getting used to. For me, I've been working with React Native for a while now, like years. So I think in terms of the React Native version of Flexbox. So it can be a little confusing. And then the other thing is, like, the justify content and align items are flipped as well. So normally, align items would be your alignment. Let me make sure I get this right because it's confusing. So align items would align your items, I believe, like it vertically. So if you align items center, normally that would be your vertical centering of your items. But in React Native, align items center would center them horizontally. by default. But if you flip and say flex direction row, it goes back to the normal behavior that you would have on the web. I may have just gotten that backwards. So to anybody who listened to that, and if it made any sense at all, let me know if I got that backwards. But basically, you have to know when you flip from row to column mode in terms of flex direction, it will flip the behavior of justify content and of align items. Okay, so if you just play with it a little bit, like, it's pretty easy. I usually make the mistake and try one and it doesn't work, and then I try the other. So it's just, it might sound confusing, but it's not that big of a deal once you start coding, because it's so easy to just change to the other one if you need to. Let's see. Oh, cool. Steven says, I just wanted to post, thank you so much for your streams. When I went through all of my interviews and hiring, you were a huge help. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad it helped. I'm really glad. Niki said, I just looked up his IMDb, meaning Bill Murray, and Zombieland came up. Oh, it looks like you're naming Bill Murray movies. Yeah. Bill Murray is super funny. He has this, like, very dry sense of humor, so you almost don't even catch his jokes unless you're paying attention. Like some jokes are obvious, but a lot of his jokes, I feel like, are, if you're not paying attention, you wouldn't even notice it was a joke. So I find that really fun to watch and, like, pay attention to what he's saying. My favorite Bill Murray movie of all time, and one of my favorite movies of all time, is Lost in Translation, which is not a comedy. But Bill Murray is very funny in that movie, but it's just very, very subtle. So I like most of his other movies as well, including Zombieland. All right, my timer's up for questions, so I'm going to do one more Pomodoro session in 25 minutes. Let's see if we can get this modal completed in 25 minutes. Then I'll answer the rest of the questions. And I have a meeting coming up in about an hour, so I can't go longer than that. All right, let's check. First, let's check and see if we have a height set for this modal. Maybe that's why this is going out of the bottom here. And then let's also figure out why our image isn't working. I suspect I messed something up. philmurray.com 303. I have the website up. Maybe there's something wrong with the website. No, that worked. Let's try to open this up. Nope, it's not gonna let me. Elements console, that's what we want. I thought it was gonna let me open up open a new tab. That's what I want. That's weird. It says the site can't be reached. Interesting. Maybe there is no size for that. All right. Well, let's try a different one. Let's try Nicolas Cage. There we go. Let's put Nicolas Cage in here. So I'm not as big of a fan of Nicolas Cage as I am of Bill Murray, but I do like Nicolas Cage, and I know a guy who partied with Nicolas Cage at the beach one time who randomly met him. Now, this is this guy's story, so I'm trusting his word on here, but evidently the story goes, this guy that I know, I haven't talked to him in a long time, but I used to be close with him. He was at the beach just hanging out, and he saw Nicolas Cage. And they were talking with Nicolas Cage. He invited Nicolas Cage back to his apartment. So Nicolas Cage shows up at the apartment with some beer, and they just hung out and drank beer. So I mean, that seems kind of cool. He's like a laid back guy like that. So uh, I hope one day to have a similar meeting with Bill Murray. He lives near Charleston, South Carolina, which is one of my favorite cities. So I want to visit there one time and maybe run into him. I know it's a long shot, but you got to have dreams, right? Hey, there we go. Okay. Nicolas Cage there looking, he's looking pretty strong in this one. I mean, look, he's got some veins showing in his muscles there. I wonder what movie that was for. Probably maybe The Rock. Is that the one where he was where was the one where he was a prisoner? Con Air. I think that might be Con Air. All right, so we have the image showing up. We've got the border radius there. That looks good. Let's check our margin at the top, though. I think we need a little bit more on the top. And we need about 31 pixels of padding here at the top, and we do not have 31 pixels. So, padding top. Oh, we got a couple layers here. So let's see what we have. So our card style has a certain amount of padding. And we set it to padding 0. So let's so if that's padding 0 and this is 12, we could just change this 12 to 31. And that should work. To tell you the truth, I'm not entirely sure why we have so many stacked views here. And look at this. We have the modal and we have the card. We need that. But then within that, I really think we only need one view. Let's try to take out one of these views. See what happens. Take that view out. Take out down here. There we go. The refresh is kind of slow on this. I'm not sure why. All right, we got our padding here. Cool. That works. Still doesn't look good because we got our content coming out of the bottom, but we can fix that. So let's see why that's happening. So our card has a height of 400. That's why. Let's get rid of the height. I'm just going to comment it out for now because we might actually want to give it a height in case this doesn't work. You know, width. Looks like, okay, so we have a width of 95% plus a max width. All right, that works. That works in case somebody's, maybe they open it up on a phone. Then that makes sense because, I mean, 335 is pretty small for a phone for width, but we're safe with it like this. Oh, nice. Nice. That's looking good. All right, cool. So our image is working. It's not the right image yet, but I don't want to waste time trying to get the image from Adobe XD right now because I'm not sure where it is. And yeah, it looks good. It looks good. And the designs, it looks like our modal might be a little bit too wide. The designs here are showing 220, like 223. So let's change that while we're here. Or I mean 323. So 323, just a little bit of a difference, but it might make a difference on how our text breaks. I really wish, where's it at? I wish that Macs or Windows had like the screen switching like Macs do. All right, I think we'll want to make this content wrap onto 3 lines. so let's do that. 223, because that's in the designs. I expect like somebody is going to ask, why isn't this text on 3 lines? The design has 3 lines. So let's make it go into 3 lines. So we're going to do that by restricting the width of this block of text. We're going to restrict the width to, trying to see how wide this is. Let's try 224. So basically we're restricting it by, it's going to be 100 pixels less than the card that it's in. So where is it? There we go. Max width, let's say 224. Cool. Now it's on 3 lines. We need some padding underneath. So let's give it about 23 pixels underneath here. We're doing a margin, bottom, 23. I love when VS Code knows exactly what I want to do. I just typed in MA and it knew I wanted margin bottom. I guess after you use it for so long, it knows. I'm not going to check that. That's a margin, so that should be fine. We need to change the text for this. And this button component is a component that I made a while ago. So this isn't the built-in React Native button. I took the, I believe, like touchable opacity and just kind of made a component with it to help me to have buttons that were styled the way I wanted. So for this one, it's going to say download the app. And I think we're going to take out the width for now. I'm going to take out the width and take out the background color, because I don't think we need all that. Let me just comment that out for now. Label style. We do want the label to be white, but I don't think we need that. I think we want the font to be bigger though. 18 pixels. So font size 18. And then our action, we do want our action to link to open a URL, but we want the URL to be different. So let's say app.jointabella.com/download. Nope, not app. It's going to just be jointabella.com/download. All right, now let's check it out. Not bad. It needs a little bit more padding on the sides though, around the text. And it needs a little bit of padding under here. But once we have that, I think it'll work. Let me open this, see if it goes to the right place. It does. Awesome. Cool. Download the app. I think I can do padding on the sides here. In the designs, it has 41 pixels of padding on the sides. I don't think we need 41 because we have some padding already. But let's go padding horizontal, and let's try 30. So it'll be our base padding plus 30. And also we need some padding on this button itself. So let's go style, margin bottom. Let's see what we need here. 23 pixels or 20, just 23. I mean, it's going to equate to pixels, but we don't put the pixels. I forgot I had that thing. All right, let's see if this worked. If the padding on the sides didn't work, we can manually give it. Oh, cool, that did work. I was gonna say we can manually give it a width. Look at that. All right, now we need to hook up the cancel button to be able to close this. The other thing that would be cool to do is we should be darkening the background. So we'll see if we can do that as well. But first, let's just get the cancel button working so we have functionality down. Actually, now let's do the background first, because I don't want to mess around with having to continually open this just to see the background. So while we have it open, let's do the background. I do want to inspect this and see. All right, let's do some work in Chrome, just to see what we have. Okay, so all right, cool. It looks like there's a modal on top, and then where is my phone keeps vibrating. I thought, sorry if that was causing a distraction on here. I don't know why. Oh, my daughter was trying to call me. Okay, she's trying to listen to audiobooks on her phone, but it says she's gonna try to fix it herself. So let's see. All right, let's see what we're using. I don't remember what library I'm using for this. What is it? Modal Enhanced React Native Web. All right, we'll look that up if we need to, but really, transparent, has backdrop opacity, backdrop press. The backdrop press toggles modal. Yeah, why not? Yeah, let's look it up and see what this is supposed to be. All right, so on the other page, I have this open. I'm just looking at the GitHub page. And I'm going to go to the issues. Support custom backdrop. Looks like somebody... Somebody was talking about a custom backdrop. Interesting. I wonder if I can put style on here and just say like background.
Daddy, can you put the show on for us?
Not right now. I'm on a live stream.
We just need you to turn on Avengers Assemble.
You know what? I've got people watching me on YouTube right now, so I'm gonna do that. Go ahead. Can you ask your mom? Well, you can try to find the remote control.
What remote control?
To the TV, the one that's lost.
No, that we.
All right. Well, listen, man. When I'm done, I'll come up and turn some on. Okay? You gotta wait a little bit.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
But Mama, wait, Dad.
Hmm.
Can you just give the put the phone on the remote thing, and then I could turn it on.
No. Hey, look. Okay, we've got something here. we got something, but it's not. Why? This could work for us, but I don't understand why there's a gap here around the edges. Let's see. The kids are home from school today. I don't know why, but they didn't have school today, so they're all home. All right. Well, let's just inspect it. Let's see if we can figure out why. Okay, so this is where it got applied to. Well, let's try to just say margin 0. I think it's margin, just in case it's padding. Let's say padding 0 as well. All right. There's no way it refreshed that fast. Why do I have function for that? It should be all right, so you know what? There we go. My server stopped. I've been having this issue where occasionally I get this weird error and the server just stops. This is maybe like the third time it happened today. And I've been working since I was working since like 5 a.m. So it's now a little after 1 p.m. my time. So it's not too bad. It doesn't happen all the time, but it is a little bit annoying when I don't realize it happened. So once this starts up again, we should be able to see if what we did had any effect. I'm going to check my timer. We got about 4.5 more minutes. And then I'm going to stop and go back to the chat. It's going to be close. I don't know if we're going to get this done completely. I mean, style-wise, yes. Haha. All right, cool. We got this here. Now we need... Let's change it. I don't want it to be black. I want it to be... Let's give it... RGBA. Let's go 0, 0, 0. And then that last number is going to be the opacity. And it's from 0 to 1. So let's go 1.14 and see what we have. Let's see if this does. See if it does what I want. It might just give us like a weird gray color though. Oh no, it worked. Cool. Very nice. Do I want it a little darker? I think I want it a little bit darker. It's almost like you can't even really tell. So let's go 2.4. Nice. All right, cool. Now the cancel button should work because I left the action from the old X button, but what we need to do is go down here and let's add in state actually. So podcast episode, use state. Let's add in some state for, I don't need user. I don't need members. I do need data. let's say, modal. Let's go set modal. Yeah, that'll work. Modal visible, set modal visible. And let's say set state or use state. And we're going to set it to false. And then now we're going to come down here to where we actually have our modal. And for visible, we're going to say modal visible. And for toggle modal, toggle app modal, we're not going to do a dispatch anymore. See, the other modal was routed through Redux. We needed to do that for that modal, but we don't need to for this modal. So I'd rather keep it in local state. What did I say? Set modal visible. And since we want this to be a toggle, this is going to take in modal visible and just give us the opposite of modal visible. At least that's what I wanted to do. Now, you know what we don't have? We don't have any way for this modal to actually be shown. So, what am I going to do? So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to set this to true for now, just so that we can test this out. So modal visible is going to by default be true for now. Normally we'd want it to be false. What we want the modal to do is actually show up as the user's listening to the podcast after like 30 seconds or so. We want to pop the modal and encourage the user to download the app for a better experience. And my timer is running out, so this will probably be the last thing we do for this stream. Cool. A click on the background did close it, so we can close the modal. Excellent. All right, let me go to the chat now, and I'm going to get through all the questions in the chat. I believe I can get through all the questions. There's not, like, a large amount. I'm going to make the text bigger on these questions, make it easier on my eyes. And let's see. Hey, Thomas Ebersol's in the chat. Oh, wow. I haven't talked to you in such a long time. It's great to see you here. All right. Let me find where I left off at. Okay. All right, cool. So I'm going to try to pick out just the questions if I can. Because everybody can read through the chat on the replay, so I'm not going to read out everything in the chat. Well, I'm not going to read it out loud, but I'm going to read it. Steven, I see you're talking about your job. I'm so glad it's going well for you. Nikki asks, does React Native do CSS Grid? Unfortunately, no. It would be pretty cool if it did, I think. But as far as I know, it does not. Now, there may be some plugin or something that, like a package that would allow you to use Grid, but I don't know if that exists. It would be cool if it did. Willie Tito says hello. Hey, how's it going? Nice. Michael Creel has a Bill Murray quote that applies to this live stream. I don't think the heavy stuff's going to come down for quite a while. So Thomas says, hey, Jesse, remember, or good to see you. You may not remember me. I definitely do remember you. As a student, worked for Tom at a certain university. When you worked there, you were awesome and helped me with my web design senior thesis. It's good to see you streaming, though, looking good. Oh, man, thank you so much. I remember. I remember the senior thesis, and that's cool. How if you're still watching, how's it going? What are you up to now? Steven says Nicolas Cage is a national treasure. I totally forgot he was in National Treasure. Those are good movies. I wonder if National Treasure is good to watch with kids. Might watch that with my kids. My oldest is 11 now, and my youngest is 4. So I wonder, has anybody seen it recently? Is it good for kids? Nikki says, "What's a view? Is that like a div?" Yep, exactly like a div. John says it needs a slide up animation. Yeah, for sure. An animation would be good. It actually might. It might slide up if I didn't have it set to true. Like if I actually had it set to false and then used like a button to open it up again. Sorry, my phone's vibrating again. Somebody's calling me, but I don't know who it is, so I'm gonna let the answering machine get it. Oh, John says the Windows key plus tab will get the switching of screens. You know what? Now that you say that, I think somebody told me that a long time ago and I forgot it. All right, let's Windows key and tab. Oh, cool. It's not exactly like what Apple does, but it's like very useful. Oh, arrow keys are used to navigate. So if I go like this, whoa. I just totally messed up my other screen pressing buttons. I'm going to stop pressing buttons for now. Steve, so my phone was buzzing for a while earlier and I didn't realize it. Steven said he's wearing the bone conducting headphones and it tickles. That's awesome. Oh, sorry, everybody was talking about the vibrations. John says, should the overflow be hidden under the modal so scrolling is prevented? You know, I don't mind the scroll. I don't mind if the user scroll. To be honest, there's not that page is never going to be that long, so I'm not worried about the scroll. M. Dot says, "Hey, my old friend. Hey, how's it going?" John says, "How is the app updating in development when there seems to be TypeScript errors? My TypeScript, which I'm very new to, will complain and error." Yeah, so I actually set the TypeScript errors to be like the lowest level possible. So I can't remember exactly how I did it, but I set it to the lowest level possible. This is built using Next.js. So I just looked up like how to disable TypeScript errors on when building Next.js. So, but usually development wouldn't give me a problem. It's when I tried to build. Like everything would be fine, and then I try to build, and then I would get so many errors. So I tried to work through errors. I took like a whole day working through errors, and I finally decided like this is ridiculous. I'm just gonna turn the errors off. So I don't know if it's the official recommended thing to do, but when you need to get work done, sometimes you just gotta turn off the TypeScript errors. Hmm. See. Oh, cool. So M dot is Marion. Hey Marion, it's good to see you. So somebody I know from high school is watching. That's amazing. That's really cool. Hey, yeah. Give me a said. send me a message in the comments or something. I'm on Twitter. I think I have links to my Twitter and stuff in the description. So like, yeah, send me a message or something. I didn't realize that you were into coding as well. So um, that's really awesome. Yeah, I'd love to find out what you're up to these days, what you've been doing. So yeah, get a hold of me. Oh, cool. So Michael says National Treasure, starring Nicolas Cage, is on Disney Plus. So and it is for kids. That's awesome. So I do have Disney Plus. And did anybody has anybody been watching this like the series on Disney Plus? So Mandalorian is amazing, season 1 and 2. But then WandaVision is also really good. I'm excited for all the rest of the series that are coming out, the Star Wars and Marvel. So if you're not on Disney Plus yet, get on Disney Plus. And if you work at Disney Plus, hook me up with that sponsorship because I'll talk about Disney Plus on every stream. Wait, Harshit's here? Harshit, what's up? Harshit, look at this. I gotta show you. I am still using your Pomodoro timer every day. I'm using this Pomodoro timer. It's really good to see you. So, how are you doing? All right, for anybody that's just joining, I'm probably done coding for right now. I'm just going through some questions and talking. So, if that's going to bother you, feel free to just wait and watch the recording. The first like hour was coding. But if you're watching and you have some questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I'll answer questions for. I got probably a little less than a half an hour. Let's say 20 minutes to give me a little buffer between the ending and my meeting. But oh, this is really cool. So for those of you who might be new to the stream, I used to stream a lot, and there was like a group of people that always watched the stream and helped out with the projects and everything. And a lot of those people are here now. So this is just kind of a reunion for us. It seems like this is very, very cool. Uh, cool. Harsha says, doing great. Have a real job for like 3 years now. Are you still with, you were with Prisma? The last I heard, you were with Prisma. And that was out of Germany, I think. Um, but anyway, Harshit was just a teenager whenever I was watching before, and was super impressive with the coding knowledge at such a young age. So, oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear you're still doing good with the same company. That's awesome. Harshit, now I don't know if I ever knew. Did you have to move to Germany for this job, or is it remote? And then did it change with COVID? I'm making sure I didn't miss anything in the chat here. Oh, John has a good point about TypeScript. He said parts of TypeScript is a pain, and sometimes it can really be a pain. But it's like it's wow when you have the constant autofill of all the values. That is to me like the best TypeScript feature is that if you do it right, even if you don't do it right, even if you only do it halfway, you still get some pretty good autocomplete for your components for everything. It's very cool, very cool, and worth it. Okay, Harsh is doing college part time. Can move after I finish that. I have the option to move there. Okay, that's cool. That's awesome that you're still able to do college, and that's cool. I mean, I'd love to see your work sometime because I was very impressed with your work a couple years ago. So I imagine it's just at a whole nother level now. But man, this is cool. There's so many people I caught up with today. I'm glad I decided to do a stream. Um, just FYI, if anybody's wonders, I streamed a couple weeks ago, and I had planned on streaming more, um, but I had like y'all know I have depression, right? And the depression started getting really bad again. So I just kind of wasn't streaming. It was just kind of just struggling through it. But I'm feeling good now. I kind of talked to my doctors, adjusted my treatment a little bit, and I'm feeling good. I did do a video about some new treatment I'm on that's working. If anybody's interested, check out my videos on YouTube. It'll be one of the last few videos. But it was um, it was rough. It was like a rough couple weeks. There are a couple days in there that was really rough, but um, and it just makes me want to like not do anything, not contact anybody, like let alone live stream. So I'd love to get back into live streaming because it always boosts my mood. Like I love doing it. I love maybe helping people. It seems like I've helped some people along the way. So I really do want to try to do it, but I know I said on my last live stream, like, hey, I'm going to stream again soon, and then I didn't. So I feel bad about that. Apologies for that. But I'm starting to feel good now, so hopefully I get in some streams and get in. It'll be mostly React Native stuff. But I'm not going to promise that I'm going to stream like I did last time. But I will say that I have the intention of streaming more. Hopefully it'll work out. Oh, Harsha says, I mostly do Rust/TS now. Okay, cool. I haven't done anything with Rust, but I've heard a lot about it. Steven says, learn Cypress and Jest unit testing in no time, fully implemented about a month. That's awesome. I need to learn more about React Native testing because the project that we worked on today has no tests. And it makes me very nervous to have no tests for this project. So I need right now we're like working very hard at like features, just getting like the basic features in. But after that, I think we really need to focus on some tests. Steven says we should do an Among Us stream with fans. I've never played Among Us, so I need to learn how to play. I have it on my phone though. Like when it was really big, I downloaded it on my phone and played it, or not played it. I just downloaded it with the intention of playing it, and then never got around to it. Nikki says Rust is nice. I'm learning it. It's so many totally new concepts though. Only ever really doing JavaScript before and a bit of Python. That's interesting. What is Rust used for mainly? Because I hear about it a lot, but I'm not sure like what's the most common applications built with Rust. As you know how like if you're doing web stuff, JavaScript is where it's at. If you're doing machine learning, it seems like Python is one of the most common languages for that. I'm just wondering if there's something with Rust. John says, we enjoy your style of streaming. You just have a way that delivers straightforward human interaction and sharing. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm like not trained to do any of this. I've never done public speaking training or anything. I just talk, right? Like, there's a couple of little tricks that I do use. Like, I always listen to music so that I talk louder because otherwise I kind of talk very low and it's hard to hear me. So I've noticed like I've done that trick. I don't remember where I learned it from, but I don't think I invented it myself. I think I learned it from somebody, but I can't remember where. All right. So Rust is systems programming language. You can think of it as the new C++. You can build fast backends, CLI, and GUI tools with it. You can even compile it for web use. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. It's pretty similar in performance to C. It's mostly used for things where performance and memory management is important. Okay. I have a much better understanding of Rust now. Thank you. All right. Let me. This is. I think I'm gonna get off the stream here soon, just in a minute or two. I've gotten through all the questions, and I'm gonna take a little break before my next meeting because um, I'm sure if any of you are working remote now, you realize that like sitting on the stream in meetings and stuff for a long period of time is kind of rough. So I'm gonna have this next meeting. I believe will be at least 45 minutes. So definitely want a little break before. But thank you all so much for watching. This was really fun. Like I said, I hope to be able to do these again. And it was really nice seeing some of you. It's been a while, and it was great seeing you all and catching up. Hopefully, you learned a little bit from this stream. If you need to make a modal in React Native Web, then now you can see how. I did have a little bit of it pre-built since we copied and pasted from the original component, but hopefully it was still helpful. And anyway, yeah, hopefully I'll be back sometime soon. And until then, have a great day and have a great weekend. It's Friday, so enjoy the weekend. And I got a couple new messages. Okay, John says do some push pull exercise, get the blood moving. Yeah, that's a good idea. I need to get out of this chair and walk around for a little bit. But all right, see y'all later. Again, so nice talking with you, and hope to talk with you all again soon. Bye.